Bharat, you see prices coming down?
Not much, according to me, because there is no supply. I mean, the demand is already there. Because of the limbo on the approval side for the last 12-15 months, no fresh approvals have come, and there is a lag between approvals, construction and delivery, so that ready-made stock is not going to be there as expected over a period of time. So I don't see much fall in the price. Maybe, generally whenever a buyer goes also, the developer is happy to give a discount of 8%, 10%, 15%, depending on the negotiating power of the buyer and the position that the developer is in at that point of time. But across the board, slashing of prices, according to me, it's not going to happen.
It's a very important point Bharat makes, and isn't that, Pranay, the story really of our real estate sector? That while over the last few years we've tried everything possible on the demand side to attack it, on the supply side little has been done. And approvals probably, and that's what developers tell me, have only become worse. You've got even more approvals now to go through. Time taken to get projects off the block are even more, and that eventually perhaps is what keeps prices where they are, because on the demand side, your input cost has gone up. So you obviously should ideally, be kind of worried about how you're going to really boost your sales unless and until you don't cut a bit. At the same time, your interest rate story hasn't yet changed. Hopefully it will very soon. Yeah. But at the same time, you're able to keep those rates. And that's largely probably because of the fact that we've got a supply situation where approvals are taking far longer. Is that really the story which reflects even in the market?
There are two main reasons why the prices are not coming down. If you take 50% of the developers, they are in joint venture with a landowner. Now, all those landowners, historic cost of the land is very, very small. It's minuscule. Take a textile mill, for example. Owner of a textile mill entering into a joint venture with a developer. He hasn't bought the textile mill now. It was something which he inherited, through generations. Now, 70% of your sale price consists of land cost. You haven't paid for that land. Imagine your ability to hold on to the stock when you haven't incurred that 70% cost. It is possible that the developer has given some advance. It is possible that there is some kind of an arrangement by which there is pressure on the developer to develop fast enough. But the main reason is that you haven't paid for the land. All right? That's very important. Secondly, when a developer is involved in a larger project where he's developed something and he's in the process of developing something else, right? He cannot afford to reduce the price. It will reflect on what he has already sold. I don't know whether you heard this story about two developers getting gheravod, and I'm using that term very loosely, where the existing buyers gheravod those developers to say that, look, we are going to ask for this reduction. We bought it at 9,000 rupees a square feet. You are now selling at 7,000 rupees a square feet. We are not going to pay you the balance. It's a huge problem for a developer.
But are they under stress?
They
are they lining up outside your office to say, help me sell my assets? Is that a trend you're seeing?
Yes, they want to come up with out-of-box thinking. What they want to do is not across the board reduce the price. But if you're a buyer approaching them, he'll say, hey, get 2 more, and if you buy 3 flats, I'll give you 15%
What about
off.
sale of assets, Pranay?
I think the non-core assets are a big, big issue. A lot of developers are getting out of it.
We saw a lot of them going into the hospitality space. We saw a lot of them going into, the SEZ space, and all that is over, according to you?
Well, you've seen the number of licenses that have been returned to the government on the SEZ front, right? So people are not very gung-ho about doing any of the things which involve a large term commitment. They want a short-term commitment, something which you get in and get out in 3-5 years. But if it's something that involves a 10-year scenario, they're not able to see the 10 years. And therefore, they are not willing to commit to that. SEZ is such one instance. Look at what happened to IT. To date, people don't know whether that particular provision in the Income Tax Act is going to be extended or not. How do you make commitment, tell me? How do you create an asset?
Bharat, how stressed are real estate companies when you talk to your colleagues across the sector?
I mean, There is definitely a stress, no doubt on that. A lot of commitments are there for repayments, etc., servicing of debt burdens, etc., etc. But at the same time, there are options still available, albeit at a cost, due to which...
But you think they'll survive this?
Yeah, I mean, see, it's a question of taking a call on, retiring less costlier debt with slightly higher cost debt, and tiding over the period of 6 to 12 months, within which time, if a call is there that maybe after 12 months I will get, instead of 12,000 that I'm selling currently, or with, the price point at which it can sell, and if I expect 16,000, 17,000, and I reduce the differential of the interest costs, then I will take a call and then, push back the sale. And at the same time, as we rightly said, if I had sold earlier at, 14,000, then I cannot sell at 12,000 for sure. So that's a it's a different constraint which one has to look into and take a call.